That is an enormous cost. It's about 50 billion, but it's also very imaginative. As we all know...
What is that? Sorry, imaginative. What do you mean by that?
But it's not the kind of thinking you get from the others. Because, because they stick with orthodoxy. One of the big problems we've got is we have more and more people, young people too, living off welfare. And it's costing us over £100 billion a year. What we want to do, and there's a trap here, you see. You're on benefits, you go back to work, you work more than 16 hours a week.
From the very first moment this interview clip hit the internet, people knew something explosive had just happened. A single exchange, one unexpected interruption, and suddenly Nigel Farage was at the center of yet another political firestorm. But this time, it wasn't just a bold comment or a sharp critique. It was a full-blown challenge to the entire system, a moment that left the audience stunned, the interviewer speechless, and viewers around the country asking the same question: did Farage just expose something the government hoped you'd never notice? Because what started as a routine conversation quickly turned into a dramatic confrontation about the economy, welfare, and the billions flowing through Britain's financial system. Farage didn't hold back.
The tax kicks in, you may as well stay on benefits. There is a terrible trap.
So hence the rationale to raise the tax threshold.
A growing number of young people are saying they've got all sorts of psychological problems, but they're also not incentivized to go to work. We want to get people back to work.
I understand that. So the 50 billion, where will that money come from?
A lot of it will come from the racket that is going on. The government has been creating money, particularly during the pandemic. That money goes into the system, it goes into banks, the banks lodge it with the Bank of England, the Bank of England pay them interest on it. It's a racket, well, and an increasing number.
He didn't soften his words. Instead, he pushed straight into the heart of the issue, dropping a figure so massive it stopped the room cold: £50 billion. A number that instantly triggered shock, disbelief, and a reaction online that spread like wildfire. People were scrambling to understand, where does that money come from, who benefits, and why does Farage call the whole system a racket? And that's exactly where the tension in this interview truly exploded. Because when asked to explain what he meant, Farage doubled down. He called it imaginative, not in a creative sense, but in the sense that it simply didn't match political reality. According to him, the government isn't just mismanaging money, it's creating it, printing it, injecting it into the system in ways that ordinary people never see, never understand, and never get to question. And when he revealed how that money flows from the government to the banks and right back into the Bank of England, with interest paid to the banks, the atmosphere instantly shifted from confusion to shock. But Farage didn't stop there. He went after one of the most sensitive issues in the UK today, welfare. And he hit it hard. He pointed out that more and more young people are staying on benefits, and that the country now spends over £100 billion a year supporting them. Then came the bombshell. He argued that the system is designed in a way that traps people. Because the moment someone goes back to work and passes 16 hours a week, the tax penalty kicks in, discouraging them from working at all. With one sentence, he accused the government of creating a cycle that punishes ambition and rewards dependency. And right there, the interview took a fiery turn. The interviewer pressed him, challenging his claims, demanding to know where the £50 billion would actually come from. The tone sharpened, the room tightened, but Farage didn't blink, he didn't hesitate. And that's when he called the entire setup a racket. Not just a flaw, not just a mistake. A racket, a word that instantly triggered outrage, applause, and disbelief across social media. Within minutes, viewers were replaying the moment, clipping it, sharing it, and reacting in real time. Some said Farage had finally said out loud what nobody else dared to admit. Others accused him of oversimplifying complicated issues. But regardless of which side people fell on, one thing was unmistakable: the interview had turned into a national conversation, and millions were listening. Because what Farage touched wasn't just welfare, taxes, or banking. It was frustration. It was the feeling that something deeper is wrong, that ordinary people are squeezed while powerful institutions walk away with billions. And when Farage claimed that banks were being handed interest from money they never earned, interest paid by the Bank of England, the audience could feel the shock. It wasn't just politics anymore. It was personal. It was about their money, their future, their taxes. And as the interview continued, the tension didn't fade, it escalated. Every sentence felt like another match thrown into a political bonfire. Every claim sparked new debates online. And every viewer watching couldn't help but wonder, if what Farage is saying is even partly true, then what else is happening behind closed doors? What else is being hidden in plain sight? By the end of the conversation, the atmosphere felt heavier, sharper, more charged than when it began. The interviewer looked unsettled. Farage looked energized. And millions of viewers were left staring at their screens, replaying the moment he called the system a racket and exposed a cycle that, according to him, keeps young people out of work and keeps banks swimming in guaranteed profits. And that brings us to the final question, the one everyone is asking after watching this clip spread like wildfire: is this the wake-up call Britain needed, or is it just another political explosion that will fade in a week? Because whether you agree with Farage or not, one thing is absolutely clear: moments like this are reshaping the national conversation. And if this is just the beginning, then the political landscape of Britain is about to get a whole lot louder.